All right, guys. How many times have I sat right here and told you not to overthink things? Right? I know I've done it a ton of times. Maybe a different, we'll say, project in the background, but the message is usually the same. So, with that being said, why do I have such a hard time taking my own advice? Let's see if we can figure that out on this week's Tuesday Morning Tech Tip from Pugliese Speed Shop. Yo, I don't think there's anybody I've referenced more on this channel than this guy right here.
Dan here, DD Speed Shop.
So, if you watch his channel, you know. If you don't, you need to. But he is not afraid to just get after it, right? This dude will jump into something, cut something apart, make it seem like he's done it a million times, whether he's ever seen it before or not. That amount of confidence is just astonishing to me. I like to think of myself as a pretty, world-renowned guy. If that's a thing, that's a thing. I've been around, is what I'm saying, okay? And that has kind of boosted my confidence in some places and maybe lowered it in a few other ways, but that's besides the point, all right? I'm usually pretty good at figuring out what I need to do and getting it done. As you guys know by watching this channel, not always the right way, but it's done, all right? And that's what's important. But sometimes, and it's happened more recently. I don't know what it is. Like when I was younger, I was like, hey, true story, guys. My brother Anthony had a bicycle. We all had bicycles, right? He had a bike that was there, and I said, hey, I'm going to take it apart. And I'm going to paint it for you and put it back together. I was like 7, right? I figured out I got it taken apart. I painted it with leftover paint from the house. Now this was in the '80s, so we painted the house with brown, and not like a brown, And I did the tires tan because that's what my dad had for the trim, and it did not come out good, and it did not get put back together right. I forgot to put some bearings in some places, and it actually ended up with, well, Anthony rode my bike until we got his fixed. So luckily, Dad was a pretty capable dude. He got it fixed, showed me what I screwed up, and I learned that lesson. For then. Later on I screwed up again, guys. Don't worry about that. So why was I so confident back then? And now here I am 40 years later, and I hesitated, even buying the exhaust for the Suburban here, because I just didn't want to make a mistake. I think I got it broken down, guys, and I wrote it right on the back of this Summit sticker because, that's what I had close by. I got it broken down to 3 things, all right? And I wrote them down so I don't forget, and you guys know I ramble, kind of like I'm doing right now. Okay, reeling it in. I think the first and foremost reason that I overthought the hell out of this exhaust system is because we're spoiled. And if you don't think we're spoiled, you're living under a rock, all right? Even somebody like me who tries to stay old school and do things the way they were done back in the day, and guys, you hear me bitch about a lot of the technology stuff, and Megan said would be one of the guys like, get off my lawn, But wait, why are they gonna get on the lawn? Seriously. Okay, forget about that. We are, right? Because we can pick up our phones at any given time because it's probably already in your hand, and Google there and order whatever you want. There's a kit for everything, right? Especially for the more popular vehicles or whatever, right? So here, square body Chevy. Bottom. Is there anything with more stuff, more companies that are building it? Everybody and their brothers got square body Chevy stuff. But yes, we're spoiled, but also I always end up with the things that you can't do that with. And I get it. It's a lot because of my taste, right? Like a 77 Le Mans is not restored all that often. They're starting to make parts, but I've been having some trouble with some of them, right? I thought to myself, square body Chevy, I can get whatever I need. Well, this is an 89, right? So the trucks in 88 started the OBS style. The Suburbans, the 3/4 tons and the 1 tons, definitely the Suburbans and 1 tons. The 3/4 tons, I'm speculating, stayed with the square body until 91, I believe. That sounds right. So, whenever I go to buy something for this thing, it goes up to 87. I'm usually fairly certain that, and not whenever, like I was able to buy some trim pieces and whatnot, like that bezel for the headlight and stuff like that, and some of the universal things and stuff. But a lot of the specific stuff I'm trying to buy, it goes up to 87 because that's the square body thing, right? Now this one's even more, so it's 89, which makes it a little bit, but then it's been swapped over from fuel injection to carburetor, which was actually a selling point for me, even though I didn't buy it. It's the same. But, yeah, so it makes it a little bit more weird because now I'm trying to get things that might, especially the mechanical side, right? So when I went to get this exhaust, Summit, Jegs, I mean, every one online had, now I get the stock one. That wasn't a problem, right? I can go like Parts Geek or whatever those are. I'm just naming names. Do your research. I know some of these places are great. Some of them might suck. I don't know. It might not have what you're looking for, but I know I've had some luck with those places. So I get the single exhaust for this guy. And after a little while, I thought about doing that. And then I was like, well, I want to have a dual exhaust. I'm trying to, a little hot roddish, right? So that's what I was trying to do. And I figured I could and people had done it in the past, so they told me, got on Summit and Jags, or the two big ones, right? And ordered what they wanted. Boom, I want this exhaust. These guys got headers, back, mufflers, the whole thing. Nick just got them for his Monte Carlo, and it came out great, and it sounds awesome, and he did have to change some stuff on a cross member. It didn't exactly, so there is always that. When you get a kit, it's not always, So that's what I was concerned with. I think actually I would have probably been a little better off until he told me that story, and I was like, man. So nobody, and I was not online, of course, and then I'm like, I'm going to go old school, and I started calling people. And they're like, oh, we don't have it for that one. I was like, how would you not? It's the same small block Chevy. What's the problem? So the one I bought goes up to 87, and it's supposed to fit the 1 ton. 3/4 ton, basically because of the length, like the bed length and all that. Suburban, Blazer, Jimmy, all the shooting, got the whole thing. Up to 87. Well, it should be the same. And guys, I don't know yet if it is. It looks like it's all going to fit, but we don't have it in yet. All right, I'm actually going to start that after I finish this. But so yeah, I said, well, I ordered the 87 one. Thinking to myself, the only difference would be that there's probably like a bung welded in for fuel injection, 88, 89, whatever. And then when I was underneath taking off the Y pipe, I saw the O2 sensor in the manifold. I said, well, shit. That I might have been wrong with that assumption. So we're going to find out, right? But then, as I'm thinking about this, I'm like, why the hell am I so worried about this? I had an 83 Jeep Cherokee in high school, and the exhaust was trash because in Pennsylvania it was rusted out. Me and my father got under there with a Sawzall, hacked it off, got some pipe from National Auto Parts, which is probably not even around anymore, and we got a, what do you call them things? You know what I'm talking about, right? Help me out. Glass pack. Yeah, for like $9, got some clamps, went right past the door, stuck it out the side, got after it. Rode that thing for a while. Well, I didn't have the glass back on very long because that 360 was loud. But I got some thrush muffler and threw that on there. golden, right? I think we were out, I don't know, $30. Now, granted, that was in the 90s, but we were good. So why am I sitting here overthinking this thing, right? It's driving me nuts. Why am I doing that? I never did before, right? I mean, I could have gone off the Y pipe to sitting over there, pissing me off as I'm looking at it, cobbled something together and been done with it. But I didn't. And that's because I wanted to be, because I see all these shows. I see all these other YouTube guys. I see all my buddies, all this stuff, and their stuff looks nice and neat. Now, did my stuff look nice and neat back then? I don't know. 16-year-old Chaz definitely thought it did. But now we're overthinking stuff, right? Because it's got to be, right? Who cares? First, I'm about to dump this on the ground, too, so who's going to see it? As long as it sounds good and does the job, right? But we overthought it. So that's part of it is we're spoiled. We think we should just be able to buy a kit, throw it on, and carry on with our day. And that's not always the case, guys. And the fact that we think that shows that, they have got us conditioned, right? The next reason is money. I mean, 16-year-old Chaz had one thing to pay for, his vehicle, right? And that was that. Well, nowadays, got a little more to worry about. So, do I want to throw something that's not going to fit? And then, now, what's going to happen when it doesn't fit? We already know. We're going to start cutting and welding and doing whatever we can to fit it in here. And it's going to fit. That's not even a question. But then I spent $300 for this exhaust system, and I cut it up and made it work to where I could have bought some extra pipe and, that $50 thing maybe, and that would have worked. Now I'm pissed off because I got a bunch of leftover crap and I'm out an extra $250. Nobody wants to do that. So I kept overthinking it because I don't want to waste the money, right? And then I went back and forth, like, maybe I should do headers too. I get a header back exhaust system. And I'm like, well, I didn't want to break any bolts trying to get those manifolds off. Clearly that didn't matter. But at least I only got a couple on the pipes to worry about, nothing in the head. So maybe I made a good decision. I don't know. Which leads us into time. Guys, time you can't get back. Kevin said it, right? You can always make more money. You can't make more time. So, in an effort to save time, I spent all this extra time finding the right parts that may or may not fit. Where 16-year-old Chaz would have not spent any of that time. He would have got a whole handful of crap, got it on there, and it had been done. So, again, would it be right? Would it be as neat and nice and this and that? Well, we don't know because I still haven't done it, right? But I'm thinking it's going to fit pretty well. And, well, I mean, I'm hoping it will, right? So, in an effort to be more like Dan, I got to stop doing this. I got to stop overthinking everything. And as I'm thinking about it now, I'm overthinking making a video telling you guys not to overthink it. So I think I'm going to shut up and just start working. Stop overthinking it. Thanks for watching, guys.